Let's now go into the realm of politics and what has happened in the opposition African Democratic Congress. So today, we saw the chairman of the Policy and Manifesto Committee for the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Chief John Oyegun, presenting a draft copy of the party's manifesto for the 2027 general election to the leadership of the party today in Abuja. According to him, the document has proposed the principle of a gradual, sequential reforms that is responsible and humane. Take a listen to him.
The challenges facing this country are serious economic hardship, insecurity, institutional fragility. Without institutions, of course, we cannot deliver, and declining public trust, which is a very, very serious issue indeed. But these challenges also create an opportunity for leadership, clarity, and bold policy thinking. The manifesto will simply tell Nigerians what we promise to do. It will also show Nigerians how the ADC as a party and all its governments intend to provide leadership.
Armed with this manifesto, we will move forward with renewed confidence, united in purpose, and determined to offer Nigeria leadership that inspires hope and delivers results. Before I conclude, let me assure Nigerians that the ADC will remain focused on our mission to rescue Nigeria. We will not be distracted. I received this report not just as a document, but as a bold statement of vision, courage, and commitment to the Nigerian people.
Well, this is a political party a lot of Nigerians are probably thinking as a real alternative to the ruling, and now a party that has established itself as a major force in the country, that's the APC. And all of this, it will be important to know what exactly the party has in stock for them ahead of the elections, if truly there is an alternative. But beyond that, it's going to be the contestation of who gets the party's ticket, or what pairing will be favorable in forging a very big alliance against the now formidable APC and Bola Tinubu's camp. Let's dissect these issues for you and look at it from the prism of an unbiased analyst and political and social commentator. Majeed Dahiru is live for us here in our studio. Thanks so much, Mr. Dahiru, for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. What do you make of that? They promised, they said they're going to release their manifesto. Now they've come out with it. We don't know the details just yet, but now they have a draft copy.
Well, I would say better late than never. Okay. But it actually came late in the day for the ADC. A political party is supposed to be born. It's supposed to come into the consciousness of the people with your manifesto. Because a political party that was born without a manifesto is like a child born without a brain, or a car without a brain box. As I've always said, I'm one of the biggest critics for not having a manifesto as an opposition party. But now that they have a draft manifesto, it's important that the next time their spokespersons are going on TV to speak on radio or writing about what they think is wrong with the polity and what should be done right, they should be speaking to that manifesto. As Nigerians, we must be able to see what exactly they are offering as an alternative to what we have now. They must be clear, they must be specific, they must be punchy. We don't want generic, statements about good governance or how you want to do things differently. No, we want specifics. And if possible, they can take it a notch higher to deepen the discourse around good governance, such that it will convince a critical mass of the people, enough for them to come out on election day to say, okay, we want to vest our democratic investment in this party that has promised us so and so dividends. But without that, I'm afraid that the already weakened opposition will become even much weaker going to the election. So while this is commendable, it came late in the day, but better late than never. And like I said, I would want their spokespersons, I want those who are speaking for the party chieftains, the eggheads in the party, the prominent politicians in the ranks for the party. Let them familiarize themselves with this manifesto. Let them own it. Let them internalize the principles written in that document, such that whenever they are now speaking, when next they are going on an offensive against the government, they should be speaking to that manifesto and offering clear-cut alternatives. I mean, I follow the UK politics a lot because Kevin Badenoch is giving the government of the day a run for their money. On every single issue, Kevin provides a clear-cut alternative, something I as a Nigerian can even relate with. Even when I'm not a British citizen, I can sit down in Nigeria and relate with what she's saying, because she comes up with distinct policy propositions that are intelligible.
They have a shadow government, and on every issue...
That's how serious an opposition should be. So I expect the ADC, that has emerged as the leading opposition party today, because of course the PDP is in comatose and probably waiting for the final rites of passage. The ADC must be encouraged to make sure they come up with clear-cut alternatives. They have an opportunity.
Yeah. But I mean, there are those who will say that ADC couldn't have been burned in the manner in which they came with the manifesto that you're describing, because they are the new owners of the ADC. The ADC, as it then was under Nwosu, they had a manifesto, but it doesn't look like that is the kind of life the present owners of, or the occupants of ADC, that's the kind of ideology they want. And that's why they are bringing forward a new manifesto. And they say that they want everyone in the party to have a say, and the party, every Nigerian can lay ownership.
That is not a good strategy, unless it's important we guide them. So the question would now be, when you came together and formed this coalition and decided to adopt the ADC as a party, what was it you agreed on in principle was wrong with Nigeria, and what were the solutions before you came together to form a party? So in that sense, well, next time you are forming a coalition around opposition that wants to challenge the sitting government, your manifesto should launch you. That's how it is done all over the world. You don't launch a political party without a manifesto. It's an error. Your manifesto should launch you. So in the weeks and the months you've been coming together and discussing, you should have synthesized your own ideas enough to distill it into a crystallized statement of policy, otherwise known as manifesto, such that we now agree to form this party. As you are launching with that objective that you already adopted as members. It might have been an oversight on their part. You see, the ADC must understand something. Nigeria is no longer a 16-year-old democracy as it was in 2015. Nigeria today is almost a 27-year-old young adult democracy. You're no longer a teenager.
As for the Fourth Republic.
For the Fourth Republic. So it will take much more than symbolisms, rhetorics, criticisms, to convince people to go out there, queue up endlessly to vote for you. You would have to be specific this time around. You have to dig deep. You have to be able to convince people with just more than mere words. And you have to understand that Nigerians have become frigid, so to say, from being serially jilted by different parties and, successive governments. So there is this trust deficit in all political parties. Therefore, to arouse our interest once more, you must go just beyond the words of mouth to demonstrate practically what it is you want to do different. That is a challenge for the opposition.
Yeah, because, and I like to be realistic. And when you are putting the patterns, the numbers, the figures, the ideologies, and all of the indices that usually inform how elections are being won and lost. There are a lot of people who were arguing when I was having this conversation about manifesto. There are a lot of ADC members who are very agitated about it. Maybe because they don't have it. They think that one is being too hard on them.
And but
we need to know your DNA. We need to know what you stand for. Exactly. Because in the past in this country, we have been so blindly led by people who don't even know what they stand for.
Who simply said, I'm going to fight corruption,
and they get there, and they discover that all of the people they brought together don't even understand. There is no common...
They don't understand the problem.
Absolutely.
Let alone being able to find a solution to the problem.
Idea. And so the fact remains that one of the reasons why people come together to form a political party is because they share similar ideology.
Yes.
But what I see that is happening in the ADC is that the ideology that is similar to all of them is that they say they want a good Nigeria.
But they want to remove Bola Tinubu.
But they want to. That's a common ideology.
Should not be
and it's a good ideology. If removing Bola Tinubu will make Nigeria better in their own sense, but the fact remains here, Mr. Dahiru, is that beyond removing Bola Tinubu,
what next?
If you think Bola Tinubu is the bad one here, you put another Bola Tinubu there that will even be worse off than the Bola Tinubu that
because we experienced it in 2015. In 2015, it was all about chase away the PDP, chase away Jonathan.
After then,
for 8
all
years,
of those who chased away Jonathan, they moved to the other side. And then those who will say, those two of you in the ADC, you were the orchestrator of the same political parties that is now a devilish political party.
The ADC, more than another political party, to come clean and clear about what it is they want to do from their own experiences. Look, angels don't come from able to fix Nigeria. It is still Nigeria that will fix Nigeria. And most of us have come, how do you call it? How do my Christian brothers say it? We have come short of the glory of God. We have all seen and come short of the glory of God. So it's a matter of, taking that decision to say, look, enough is enough. I've been part of this system, and I think I know the problem with the system. And at my level, at my age, as a former Senate president, former vice president, former governor, former this and that, we now think that there comes a time in the life of a nation when the elite class will say enough is enough, and that we now need to prioritize national and people-oriented interests over and above personal, partisan and sectional interests. I hope that will be the decision of the APC, of the ADC, I mean. ADC. And to communicate that to us, we must see how your party is better managed than the other parties. Yeah. We want to see a more democratically run party, a more inclusive party. Yeah. We want to see a party that is less transactional. Yeah. We want to see money politics completely relegated to the back, and if not completely abrogated in your system. We want to see...
Not that people will gather in one stadium and they would have given dollars to every delegate and buy all the...
Nigerians will not vote for such a party, because we already know they are not so different from the ruling party and other establishment parties. So you have to be born again. I keep saying it, that those in the ADC, just like I've told those in the government, must take a decision to commit class suicide. And when you do that, and we now see that those men of yesteryears have truly changed and are now offering a hand of support to the ordinary Nigerian people to say we can now guide a progressive and orderly transition from the old order to the new one. That should be very much in your own interest.
Yeah, because like you said, if you say Bola Tinubu is a failure in economics, give us an alternative that will be better. If you say Bola Tinubu's handling of security is a disaster, give us the option that we have. If you say Bola Tinubu does not know how to handle welfare of citizens, give us a concrete idea. But you are a very strong critic. In 2019, 2023, you had come to advise the PDP. In fact, at that time, I remember vividly, and you said, look, this party needs to be watchful about whom they present and where this candidate is coming from. Yes. Do you think zoning should be a consideration for the ADC? Where their candidate is from and what ethnic stock or what, does that matter anyways?
Very, very much. Because we are still a country that is primarily driven by identity politics. I hope I pray that one day we'll outgrow it. I'm an advocate against identity politics. However, I keep saying that even among bandits, even among armed robbers, there has to be honor. So when we go and abduct people and they pay us ransom, please let us share it equitably. So that even amongst us, let us have peace. So that we can continue to do our enterprise, our criminal enterprise. Now, Nigeria has to exist first. Nigeria has to remain one. Must remain united, nationally integrated, socially cohesive, for it to be fixed. And at the root of this togetherness, at the root of remaining in one piece and not falling apart into many pieces, is justice, equity, fairness, and inclusion. It is something we can no longer gloss over. That's why we want the PDP that until Nigeria finds a way out of this situation, the template of rotating the presidency between the North and South should be adhered to. And we want the PDP that if you fail to zone to the South in 2023, you'll be sailing against the wind of presidency that was blowing south. And so your ship will capsize and sink into oblivion. I'm sure that has certainly come to pass. Similarly, the ADC must be told, ab initio, you cannot afford to throw your ticket open to the extent that the highest bidder or somebody from a region with the highest number of delegates will take it. That will mean a still bet opposition party called the ADC. You see, I'm trying to put out this prophecy again. If you like, call it prophecy, call it whatever I want to call it. But I'm only speaking common sense of doing the right thing. To put it simply, the ADC must be a candidate from the southern part of Nigeria to complete the 4 years left open for the southern part of this country.
Why is it a must?
Because the imperative of national unity and social cohesion is something that must be upheld by all citizens, political parties, and institutions. It's a constitutional matter. It's a zoning is not just happening in isolation. It is postulant to the Constitution of Nigeria that says no ethnic group or section should dominate the government of Nigeria or any of its organs. It was a furtherance of that, okay, knowing that Nigerians vote like along ethnic and religious lines. So to have some level of inclusion, because Nigeria itself is a product of fragile compromise, where all the component parts agreed to contribute something while also gaining a little. Therefore, if you insist that you want to use your numerical superiority at all times, you are going to now put a strain on that fragile compromise. And Nigeria might head towards the road to Sudan. Now, as we speak, the APC is having a southern president in power. If the ADC makes the mistake that the PDP made by not zoning to the south and deliberately picking the candidate from the south, the ADC will lose in the north and lose in the south and also sink into oblivion like the PDP. And Nigeria might now slip into a one-party state. And you will not blame Bola Tinubu for that. You will blame the ADC. And those in the ADC who again failed to do the right thing.
Majeed Dahiru is fasting and is in a prophetic mode. And it said this last time before 2023 election, and this is happening yet again. But I hope that anyone who have ears, just like the Bible says, you listen to what the Spirit is telling the church. That's how the Bible puts it. But thanks so much, Majeed Dahiru, for your time tonight.
Thank you
I appreciate it.